A recruiter opens two portfolios. One has 10 copied repositories and screenshots with no explanation. The other has one small defensive project with a diagram, test data, decisions, and a clear result. Which candidate looks ready to discuss the work? 10 project titles do not strengthen a resume. Verifiable evidence does. This is a ranked list of 10 beginner projects you can run in a local lab or realistic simulation. For every project, you will see the role it supports and exactly what to publish. Do not build all 10. Choose one or two that match the job you want, then finish them deeply enough to explain in an interview. Use this 5-part evidence rule. State the problem. Define the authorized scope. Explain your action. Show evidence that the result changed. Then reflect on one limitation or next step. Our fictional candidate Maya will apply this rule to synthetic data only. No public system is scanned, attacked, or modified. Project 10 is a one-page security brief. Start with a fictional finding, such as shared administrator accounts in a small company. Write one technical paragraph, then translate it into business impact, recommended action, owner, and deadline. Publish the sanitized brief plus a short note explaining what you removed. This demonstrates judgment and communication, not just terminology. Project 9 is a defensive architecture diagram for 5 fictional systems. Show identity, endpoints, a web application, logging, and backups. Mark trust boundaries and explain where alerts originate. The portfolio artifact is the diagram, a one-page threat summary, and 3 design trade-offs. Use invented names and addresses so the project reveals no real environment. Project 8 is a risk register. Create 6 fictional risks, score likelihood and impact, choose treatment options, and assign owners and due dates. Then make one executive chart showing the highest priorities. Do not pretend the scores are universal truth. Explain your assumptions and what evidence would change them. That reflection makes the artifact credible. Project 7 is a defensive review of a tiny application you own. Check input handling, secrets, access control, dependencies, logging, and security headers. Fix one intentionally weak configuration and retest it. Publish a before and after checklist, the safe code diff, and the verification result. Do not probe someone else's website. Localhost is enough to show the method. Project 6 is an identity policy review using synthetic JSON. Project 5 is a tabletop exercise. Use a fictional ransomware alert and reveal 3 timed updates, one endpoint, a suspicious account, and an unavailable backup. Record what you would verify, who you would notify, and which decision must wait for evidence. Publish the timeline and after-action report. This safely demonstrates coordination without executing malware. Project 4 is a file integrity monitor for one folder you create. Baseline a few harmless text files, modify one, and generate a readable change report. Add tests for created, changed, and deleted files. The impressive part is not hashing. It is explaining scope, expected change, false positives, and how the alert could feed a larger workflow. Project 3 is a phishing triage workbook or header parser. Use invented sender domains and sanitized headers. Extract from, reply to, return path, authentication results, and suspicious URL patterns without opening links. Publish the decision tree, 2 sample reports, and the escalation reason. This shows evidence-based analysis while avoiding real malicious content. Project 2 is a detection rule validated with synthetic logs. Choose a simple behavior, such as repeated failed logins followed by success. Write readable logic, then test 1 true positive, 1 benign burst, and 1 missing field case. Publish the rule, sample events, results, and tuning notes. A tested detection tells a stronger story than a screenshot of a dashboard. Project 1 is a complete log triage case. Create a small synthetic event bundle containing a suspicious login, a new process, and a benign explanation. Build a timeline, test 2 hypotheses, document the evidence, and close the case with a clear rationale. Publish the data generator, queries, timeline, and final report. It demonstrates an end-to-end analyst workflow without touching a real target. Here is Maya's mistake. She publishes 10 screenshots, lists 20 tools, and calls every lab enterprise grade. In a simulated interview, she cannot explain the data source, why an alert fired, or what would create a false positive. The portfolio creates more questions than confidence. Volume became a substitute for finished reasoning. Maya fixes one project. Her README begins with the detection problem and local-only scope. It includes an architecture diagram, synthetic sample data, rule logic, 3 test results, 1 false positive limitation, and the next tuning step. Now she can walk an interviewer from question to evidence in 2 minutes. The project is smaller, but the signal is stronger. Choose a pair. For a SOC role, combine log triage and detection engineering. For cloud security, combine identity review and architecture. For GRC, combine the risk register and executive brief. For application security, combine the local review and integrity monitor. 2 connected projects make a clearer resume story than 10 unrelated tool installations. Run the 2-minute recruiter test. Open the project cold. Can someone find the problem, your role, the result, and a verification artifact in 30 seconds? Can you explain one trade-off without reading notes? Finally, scan for secrets, personal data, customer names, real addresses, and unsafe instructions. Publish only after those checks pass. Your next action is simple. Pick the job family first. Choose one project from this list. Create synthetic data, define the scope, and ship the evidence package before adding another tool. The complete project matrix and README template are on CipherVibe.com. Build less, prove more, and make every resume bullet defensible.